Let's look at some other tools we can use to edit video on the timeline. The first one we'll have a look at is the rate stretch tool, this one here, and it has the shortcut key of R. So the rate stretch tool we can use to change the length and duration of a clip. And we actually did that before, but we did it a different way. So before we right clicked and went to speed duration and changed the percentage here. But instead of doing that, you can use the rate stretch tool and it will generally be a bit quicker. So you put the rate stretch tool at the end of a clip and you can just hold down your mouse button, click and drag, and you can see it changing here. So 119, that's our new speed because we shortened the clip. If we lengthen the clip, it's actually going to slow down the playback. So it's going to play at 75%, so it's going to play back slower. So you can do that, and you can also change the starts of the clip as well. But that will create gaps, so you just have to be careful of that. You may need to adjust your clips after that. So the rate stretch tool is quite simple. It's just a shortcut. So rather than going right clicking and go speed duration, just use the rate stretch tool. The next tool we'll look at is the ripple edit tool. So ripple, what does ripple mean in this context? So ripple means when you make a change to one clip, you want to adjust other clips on the timeline to make up for that. So normally if you shorten a clip, I've just selected my select tool here and I'm just going to trim it. Just drag it in. Okay, so we've just trimmed it. We made the end of the clip, we moved that up. So we made the clip shorter, but now we've got a large gap, and generally you don't want gaps in your video. So I'll just undo that, and instead of just using the normal trim tool, we're going to use the ripple edit tool, and just watch what happens. So it's gone from a red cursor to a yellow cursor, and now if I trim the end of that, I'm going to make it shorter, and just see what happens to the other clip. Okay. And it just shuffled the second clip along and removed the gap. So the ripple tool basically just make sure you don't have any gaps. It will move your other clips or adjust your other clips on the timeline. So for instance, we just shortened our clip and that just shuffled along our next clip and reduced the total length of the movie. The total length of the movie actually shortened when we made that edit. I'll just undo that one and we'll just do another ripple edit. Another ripple edit, and this time though, we're going to shorten that one. Okay, so we've actually just shortened the start of the bear clip, and we can do that again if we want to. So what's happened, we've shortened the start of the bear clip, and the timeline has actually shrunk as well. Because the second clip has shortened, the entire timeline has shortened. So that's important for when we look at the next tool now. The next tool is the rolling edit tool. So unlike the ripple edit tool where the timeline shortens or increases depending on whether we shorten or lengthen clips, with the rolling edit tool, the total time of the timeline, the total duration of the timeline remains the same. So let's have a look at an example. And really, you just got to practice these to understand the differences between the two tools. It just doesn't make sense unless you practice it. You've got your rolling edit tool. We're just going to put that in the middle of the two clips. And remember, the total time of the timeline, which is 24 seconds now, that will remain the same. So if I want to trim the first clip, I'm going to drag it to the left there. Okay, so we've trimmed the first clip. What happens to the second clip here? So the total time is still 24 seconds, but we've actually increased the bear clip, the duration of the bear clip. And by increasing the duration of the bear clip, it's slowed down the speed of the clip. So it's 75% now. What if I make another rolling edit? And I'll I'll just increase it up to there now. Now we've increased the duration of the leg clip, and still the total length of the timeline is the same. Okay, so you can see that the rolling edit tool, the timeline always remains the same. It's just the clips that either shorten or narrow whenever you make a change. So if you trim one clip, it'll increase the duration of the other clip, and vice versa. Let's look at our next tool, and I'm actually just going to have one clip on our timeline. It's just easier to work with to demonstrate this tool. So we've just got the leg clip on our timeline now. I'm going to use the razor tool with the shortcut of C. So what's a razor tool do? Well, it just splits up our clips. So I'm going to just place it there. That's one cut and a second cut. So it's just split up our clip. So now I've got 3 clips from the original source footage there. So I can now move these clips independently. So I can slot them around. I could apply effects to just this part of the clip. Or now that they are independent clips, I can apply an effect just to that clip, and I could delete that clip if I wanted to, and I can have this clip just do whatever I want with that one. So you can split up clips just to work independently with them. Say I've got 2 clips and I want to apply effect to both, and I really just want to start working with those 2 clips together. Really, they're very closely related. I just want to join those 2 clips together. How I would do that, so I've got my 2 clips now. In order to join them, you just need to click on this timeline display settings spanner here. Okay, and then click on show through edits. So what does a through edit do? Well, in this case, we're not actually seeing them. So I'll just quickly get another example. And there is a reason why we're not seeing them in this case, but I'll just do a better example. And so I'll just drag my leg back onto the timeline, and I'll just razor it in one part, and I won't move any clips around. I won't talk about why we didn't get any through edits, they call them, just before, because it's a kind of an advanced topic. Okay, just using my razor clip, and I'll just split it about there. Alrighty, and I'll just zoom in a bit. I'm just going to click on show through edits. Now, a through edit, you can see through edits just between the 2 clips. So you've got a through edit for the video here, and you've got a through edit for the audio as well. So they just look like an hourglass tip sideways. So if I want to join these 2 clips now, all I need to do is right click and go join through edits. So now I've just got 1 clip. I've just joined those 2 parts of the razored clip. The final thing I'll show you is not part of editing per se, but it is a problem you'll probably encounter. So I'll just shrink my timeline, and I'll add a second clip. So I've currently just got my leg clip, and I'll add the butterfly clip. And notice I've got my video bin here now. I can just drag it from my video bin onto my timeline. I don't actually need to display in the source monitor and drag from the source monitor. I can just drag it from here onto my timeline. We've got 2 clips now. Remember that Premiere Pro doesn't actually modify your footage when you're working with Premiere Pro. So if I trim this leg clip, it's not actually going to change the leg clip which is stored on my hard drive. This is called a non-destructive edit, and it's a great feature of all of Adobe's products, non-destructive editing. It doesn't change the underlying footage on your hard drive. But let's see what happens if I remove my underlying footage. So I'll save my project. save, and just close my project as well. So I'm going to bring up Windows Explorer, and I've got my video inside this video folder. So I've got my 3 clips there. So I'm just going to cut those, and I'm going to move them to a folder in a very different location. So I'm actually just going to move them to my C drive, and I created a folder earlier, just called another folder. I'm going to paste them there. And there's actually a file in use error there, so I'll just pause the video and fix that up. I've moved my video to another folder, which was C drive, another folder. The files are no longer on my desktop, so Premiere Pro won't find them anywhere on my desktop, even in the video folder or any of these other folders, because by default Premiere Pro will look in subfolders. Because I've got my project here on my desktop, it will actually look in all these folders to try and find my video. But because I've moved the files to my C drive, another folder, it won't actually find the video. So if I try and reopen the project now, we'll see what happens. It's called editing video. Okay, we've had this dialog box come up, link media, and it's saying missing media for these clips, and it's got a list here. It's actually got 3 clips named here, but we only need to find the location of the first clip, and then Premiere Pro is going to work out, hey, we're using this new folder to store our video now. So let's just click on locate and find the bear clip, which is in C drive, another folder now. And we've just found the bear clip, not butterfly or lake. But just by finding that one clip, the bear clip, Premiere Pro is going to work out, hey, we're using this folder now, and it's going to find the other clips as well. So you probably will encounter that error, the link media issue, if you're moving your files across using USB and you forget to copy a certain folder, or maybe you accidentally delete some footage as well. Hopefully you can recover that footage. But just be aware that if you do get that media issue, you just need to locate those media in another folder somewhere.